what kind of direction Alireza has decided to play. We might see again some sort of Sicilian. So again, the first game, I think it was, what was it, knight of 3, c5, e4, if I'm not terribly mistaken. Very weird order the most. Now, let's see where this is going to take us. It turned out to be some sort at some point, so the game transposed. There you go, Magnus immediately just plays e4. He's like, okay, I know you're about to play Sicilian. Why should I bother with knight of 3? Let me just start with e4.
He does, and we might be seeing the Taimanov Khan that you earlier spoke about. It's your speciality. He starts with the second move, e6. Alireza, I would love to get chat prediction on this point. What do you think will happen in this very important game 4? But let's also point out that whoever loses, it's not the end of the road. They just get knocked down to the loser's bracket. They'll have one more life. And Artez, I know why you had that smile on your face. It's the King's Indian attack.
Yeah, it's the King's Indian attack. I mean, actually, I was wondering, was this a mouse slip? Maybe Magnus wanted to play d4? No, I mean, of course, it's a very, very normal-looking move. The point is, White immediately fixes the center, and there you go. d5 is on the board, so Queen e2. Yeah, this is one of the trendiest ways to meet so-called closed French defense or the King's Indian attack. And the big idea here is that White wants to play bishop g2, short castle, rook e1, and if Black plays knight f6, bishop e7, and castle short, White closes the king side with a typical e4, e5, and starts a king side attack. Either way, maybe all of that, Tanya, is completely irrelevant, but I think we have a great opportunity here to get an attacking game.
I would love to see that. King's Indian attack used to be once upon a time my favorite opening to pretty much counter every single Sicilian or the French defense, and Alireza chooses a different approach. Instead of taking out the knight to f6, which often provokes that e-pawn moving forward, he develops it to e7, from where it can start targeting that e5 pawn from the square g6. It also vacates instead a different approach of g6, bishop g7 to make sure that the attack on the king side comes to nothing.
This is actually strategically a very provocative move by Firouzja, because I get it. So Black plays knight e7 with the idea to position the bishop on g7. So his idea is to slow down White's eventual move e4, e5. So both of the players are perfectly aware of the concept of the nuances of this position. But again, when you think about the position a bit in the longer run, if Magnus is going to manage to play e5, assuming Black castle short, e5, bishop f4, castles, and there's this typical maneuver to bring this knight from b1 all the way to g4. Black eventually is suffering because of those weak and dark squares. But wait a second, Taya, are you supposed to play e5 that when Black has not castle short? Maybe you can do it actually.
It feels a bit early. It feels a bit early because now Alireza can delay the short castle, and very often all the plans that you pointed out for White on the king side, Black starts countering it with his own play on the queen side.
also opening up the position with d takes on c4, considering that black cannot open up the d-file. There's going to be rook d1 with a lot of consequences here, so I'm thinking most like bishop e3, d takes on c4, knight e4. I think right now Magnus is looking for a kill.
And he's got about a minute to find it. To find the precise way forward that keeps the advantage, because the position is so beautiful for him. Black's pieces lack complete coordination. He decides to open up the lines, takes on c4, and I'm expecting him to do some rerouting of his pieces. Magnus has this incredible ability to place his pieces on the right squares.
I think bishop e3, no, knight e2. Alright. Makes also perfect sense.
A lot of sense. If you get to take it, open up the D line, that king on d7 will get checkmated. It's been a scary story for Alireza's king on in the center of the board.
Maybe remove the bishop and play bishop g7.
How do you defend this position with 8 seconds on the clock?
Yeah, you have to bring the rook finally in the game. Bishop g7 is essentially the only move that gives black some chances. So c4 is gotta be moved for Magnus here, ripping apart the defenses here. c4 is played. Bishop g7 probably is also gonna follow. I already see there could be some queen sacrifice here. c takes on d5 and d takes on c6. Looks very fancy. Maybe it's not necessary just playing queen a2. But this just can't resist sacrificing the queen here. Can I do it? I mean, Magnus is short tempted. Nah, he decided not to do it.
Hates that plays a safer approach, queen a4, pinning that knight too much on the line to sacrifice your queen, and then you don't need to do it. It's such a beautiful position as is. Alireza's rook still where it started, hasn't made a single move, and that's what's making all the difference right now. 2 seconds on the clock and a very difficult position to hold. But we've seen miracles happen today.
Yeah, indeed. So Magnus still needs to find a clear victory here. Did he miss bishop e2 here? No, he looks a bit nervous here. Rook b1 threading, rook b7. Alireza's fighting back.
And Magnus now under 5 seconds as well. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
He's missing moves. He's also missing moves here. There's a lot of nerves. Queen f2 check here. What happens? Oh,
he missed it. Look at Magnus. He reacts. But Alireza misses something as well. Queen b7 on the board.
This is complete chaos down here. Now I think Magnus again is winning.
The bar is going up and down like my heart rate right now.
That's a mate. I think e6 is a checkmate on the board with a pawn. Bishop f8, queen g6. Where's the mate? Where's the mate? There's gotta be a mate already here. Rook e7 makes perfect sense. At some point, include the rook in the game. The players are playing bishop in 5 seconds. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Alireza with 2 seconds. I don't even know how he's making these moves and staying alive right now. The knight comes on to defend. Queen f7 is a big threat. And Alireza, he resigns after e6. Magnus with his hands in the air. What a crazy match. What a crazy fight. In the end, the world #1 prevails in once again